Hi, and welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. Today, I have for you an episode which is a sharing of a mom who has year-and-a-half-old son, a little puppy dog, and she was in a lot of pain because of the separation with her ex-husband and him asking for a 50-50 custody of her son. So there was a lot of drama, lots of stress, lots of pressure, and lots of mommy tantrums. She will talk about a lot of her uncontrollable rage and how she even didn't recognize herself. She even scared herself with her really intense reactions that were getting worse. No matter how many parenting books she read, no matter how much she was trying to do CBT therapy before because she was burning out before, none of that was helping her. So what did she do differently? How is it that she was able to get help and turn it completely around in 3 months? And get so much better that now she's even getting compliments from the mediation that she's doing with her ex-husband about her son. How did she do it? And maybe could you do it too? Well, listen to her story. Meet Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast.
Hello.
So happy to have you. And first of all, well done and lots of gratitude for your courage to share your story.
Thank
I
you.
already know a lot about it, but I'm sure you will share even more details here with the moms because that's the one thing we discussed yesterday in your final consultation with me, that you want to share your story to inspire other moms because probably they are in a very similar situation. And so thank you so much for being open to helping them, because I can imagine how uncomfortable it is to talk about the ugly, not so nice things. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I want to really start with that. So help understand all the moms who don't know you. What's the family setup? What was the situation when we met? And what was the need? What was it? Why were you even looking for help?
Yeah, well, so I'm a mom of a 1.5-year-old boy, and last summer when he was just 1 year old, I separated from his dad, and this in a very ugly way. So it very end up that I really physically locked him out of the flat because it was really intense, very intense fights, and it was so bad that in the end my child didn't even want to go to him on his arms, because always when he was in the house it was already so tense that I decided it's not making sense anymore. I couldn't anymore, and yeah, and since then we also cannot speak to each other. So we have like a mediation setting where we meet every 6 weeks to talk about how to proceed, and also how to proceed in child custody and everything. But since then, I'm more or less like a single parent mom. So I have him most of the time. So he's 2 afternoons and one day in the weekends with his dad. The rest of the time, he's with me. And that's quite intense. Yeah. And I guess out of fear of being alone and getting some stability, I got a small pup, a small dog in the house in Christmas. So up there at the beginning of December, which is basically a nice idea, but it's maybe more or less a second child in this. And this lead to the blow up in the end, and it got out of hand and out of balance with this second being there, which needs my attention, which is depending on me completely. It was it really got out of hand for me. Yeah.
Already too crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to share some specific example? What was the most typical situation when you would, as you say, blow out?
So the blow-ups often happened with the dog. So I managed more or less to stay, not always, but stay patient with my child. It also didn't work out. I also yelled there, but I tried to manage as hard as I could to stay calm. But then the dog did something. Most of the time, things I that are completely out of control. The worst thing was that he in the night he pooped on the bed. He was sleeping at the beginning with us in the bed, and then he pooped there. And I woke up having the smell in my nose, and everything was full. And in the night, at 4 in the night, you have to to clean up everything, and the child wakes up, and then yeah, you have really the complete mess. And then I freaked out, and it was really, really bad against the dog. And it was so bad that I was really afraid of myself. I couldn't recognize myself anymore. It was like a situation where I was, this cannot be me. So much rage, so much anger coming out there, and it didn't stop. And I started it again and again, and it didn't stop, and I couldn't handle it. And after days, I was so shocked about myself that that's really, and I always came to the point that may not happen again. This was one thing, it got out of hand, it may not happen again, but it did. And it did again and again. And I was so out of options because I didn't know how to do it. Because like trying to be harder on myself not to do it didn't help.
That actually puts even more pressure on
Yeah,
you and makes it even more difficult.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
this is one point that I want to make mention of for all of the moms, because if you're recognizing yourself in Barbara's story, exactly saying like this rage coming out of like, where does it even come from? I don't recognize myself. I'm scaring myself. It's very common. Yeah, this is exactly what I was experiencing as well. So if you're sitting there listening or watching, please know you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. And yes, you need help, but probably something else than you've been already trying. So maybe Barbara, share with anybody who's wondering, what is it that you tried before? Did you try anything like parenting techniques, reading some books, or getting some advice, or even doing some therapy? Did you try anything before?
Yeah, so I was before also this separation, I was in CBT already because I had a burnout a few years ago, and I still was ongoing in this therapy, but it didn't really work. It was really like it was, and in the end, also the therapist, he didn't give me like really something in my problem specific. It was like just like you have an hour to talk about your things, then you feel lighter, and sometimes they give you some advice to do, but it wasn't really, it didn't stick in any way to get better. And I had also some parenting books like with attachment parenting and things like that, but it made sometimes even more pressure because I realized mistake all the time. I was in my head like next mistake, you did the next mistake. It was like in, and all of the day I had like the books in my head like, okay, this was wrong again and you did wrong again, and then I feel just more miserable about myself. You couldn't really adapt it.
Yeah, and making yourself feel like, oh my goodness, it's my fault. Like I'm the most terrible mom in the world. Yeah, how come it can work for somebody else and I cannot? Like, am I so stupid or what? Yeah, I felt exactly the same. Yeah. So
Mm.
what is it that made you resonate? Like, did we meet through mommy tantrum training or did you listen to the private podcast? Like, how did you do you remember how we
It
met?
was actually about in Instagram. In Instagram, I saw it, and it resonated with me because it was exactly what you talked also about it, like all these the things you tried and that it's not working. And I thought, yeah, that's the same problem I have, and this is really something I thought it's like not the next coaching about the parenting advices, what to do, and this is like in all these other advices, it's always like your kids do that and that, and then it's getting better. It's always about the kids, and I thought, no, it's I don't think it's the kids, it's me, and that's what resonated when I heard and I listened to you that it's like you have to start with you. It's not the other around. Like there will be always something around you, but it's not them, it's you. And this is what I thought. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Exactly. And well done for the courage and for that awareness, because this is one of the hardest things I find, like for
Mm.
moms to admit that it doesn't mean that you're a bad mom. I get it. Like you, Barbara, and everybody listening, like you're here because you're an amazing mom. You're doing so much. You're trying your best. You're sacrificing your life. You're giving away all of your time and energy to make those kids, like make them grow up healthy, happy, and everything, give them great childhood. But the fact that it's not working and that you put it on you and it's your fault and that is what I have to start with me. It's not my kid's fault. It's like, it's very intimidating, I can imagine. So, like, well done for being open to even admit that. So, I'm curious, what is it that made you want to say yes and even start this work? Were you afraid at the beginning? Were you like, did you have any skeptical voices in your head? Were you doubting anything? Or were you just like so much at the end of your rope that you're like, oh my goodness, I just know I have to do this? How did you feel?
So I was really in this point where I said I have to change something because this is not the road I want to go down, because I had the feeling it's getting worse. And I really thought this is it, and I will do everything to make it better. And of course, I thought it can be that it will not work out for me, but I thought I will not give up until I see that I really tried everything at this point in this course to make it working.
Excellent. Well done. And the leap of faith paid off. Very good. We will get to that. Before we do, though, I'm curious, one of the biggest aha moments when the moms realize, like, okay, it's me, it's my anger, it's my rage, they don't know where it comes from. Because they're like, I don't recognize, I'm not like this horrible person. Like, who is this even reacting? So share whatever you're comfortable sharing, but I would be curious also from the perspective, speaking on the behalf of anybody who's watching us or listening right now, where was your anger and rage coming from? What did you find out in the Zen Supermom program?
Okay, I guess for me it's a lot of in the childhood, like not feeling seen and heard, like being overseen, being overlooked, and not respected in any way. And this is also because I often get that furious with the dog because it feels like he's doing it person on against me. Like if he poos somewhere, or it's like a disrespect against my personality. But yeah, he's basically a dog. A dog does what a dog does. But it's like for me, it was like I took it very personally, and was really like for me. Like there are rules, and it doesn't go follows the rules. It's yeah, it took it personally that he doesn't see me, doesn't respect me, doesn't yeah.
Because that's how you felt growing up, not
Yeah.
seen, not respected. Yeah. And this is what I'm explaining in those mommy tantrum trainings or in the private podcast, that it's like 1,000 paper cuts.
Mm.
One situation alone, when our parents were too busy to pay attention, like those situations alone as isolated incidents, they would have meant nothing. But if it was happening to you repeatedly on a daily basis, then yeah, that's the anger that comes up and jumps out. So I'm curious about your experience inside the Zen Supermom program. So what did you find the most helpful about it? How did you go through it? How did you heal all of this?
So for me, a very extreme but very helpful thing was the interaction with the judge and really letting him out. It was very hard. It was very hard, but it was also really a lot that came out, and I saw how harsh I am to myself and how I speak to myself and what is in there, and also the beliefs that are over myself. That was very hard to see and sad also, but it helped to see that. And after the judge also seeing what other saboteurs I have, and this really helped me to detect them during the day, because this is really something I can now separate between. So this is myself, and these voices in my head, but that's not me, and I don't need to identify with them. So I can really split that, and that was really helpful to say, okay, when I'm having a bad day, I go out and go with the bicycle to the kindergarten, and somebody is really very bad in traffic, then it's like, okay, judge, it's not me anymore, like who is thinking that, and that's really helpful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the part of the mental fitness piece. And that's what many people are wondering, like specifically how it works practically. So exactly as you're saying, you learn to recognize the parts of you, pieces of you, that you are not your judge, but you do have a strong judging inner critic voice
Mm.
that constantly criticizes you and other people and situations. And that's what makes everything even worse. All that pressure and the fear of judgment and everything. It makes it all, yeah. And so there are specific exercises for it. So well done. So you made it work for you. Very good.
Mm.
Let's talk about it now. Fast forward. So how is it now? What happens now, 3, 4 months later, if the dog poops in bed or if the dog doesn't listen? What happens now? How is it different?
So it's different than in many situations. I have some tools to already go prepared in the situation. So now he sleeps on a different area, so he sleeps in the kitchen, not in the bed anymore. And in the mornings, I already go in like, yeah, prepared. I know it can happen. I know it can be, and I have a better mindset to say what how to take the situation. It's not taking me off guard, and then I get hijacked again. So I really have tools to prepare myself. And of course, there's still, if I'm sick, a few weeks ago I was sick, and then it's still sometimes, yes, I still blow up, and sometimes still the situation is not as good managed as I want it to be. But most of the time it's getting better, and it's really I can prevent the hijacks, and I'm still angry sometimes, but I can manage it. It's like not blowing, it's getting out of hand, and I can deal with the anger in a safer way for myself and not affecting my surrounding with it too much. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, which is a very important point, and I love that you mentioned it because there is nothing wrong with anger as such. The
Mm.
problem is when we are dumping, like emotionally vomiting the anger on other people, and especially our loved ones, especially our kids, and we kind of blame them for it. So you own your anger, you have it, you can manage and deal with it in a healthy way without hurting anybody around, and you're actually dealing with it in a faster way afterwards. You have the tools, you know how. Congratulations. Very good. And the biggest win, and again, share as much or as little as you want, but I understood yesterday when we were talking that the biggest win is actually with your ex.
Yeah, yeah, and this is something I didn't expect because I didn't thought that this is my main, or this is also a big issue in my life. I knew it is, but I thought the worst thing are this blowouts and this being hijacked. But at the same time, I have still a lot of struggles on the ongoing with my ex-partners. Also in the mediation for me, this was always very intense situations, and of course, our relationship was very dysfunctional and very bad. And being then able to give your most valuable thing, your child, to this person who really got messed up with you so much is very hard. It's like really a heart surgery without narcosis, basically. It's really, and I've always try to avoid this process to proceed more there because I thought I'm not ready. I cannot do that, and it's really I really realized it's so intense for me. I was freaking out all the time and I thought maybe I can prevent it or can try to avoid that the first sleepover, and I didn't want to see it. There was a like big avoiding there. But with the one-on-one sessions, I could realize that this is something that it's also in my childhood. This is like the like beliefs like you end up alone and you will stay alone. Nobody stays with you, and it's the big fear of the child of losing the child completely that was in there, and that I could really manage not only to be able to see the future that okay maybe we go 50-50, but I can handle that, but also seeing my ex-partner in a different light and to be able to say, okay, this was dysfunctional, but this is not how it needs to be with him and the child. He can also be a good father, although that happened with me, and
Yes.
I can see him like that. And this is something, and I'm ready to let go in this direction. Yeah, yeah. And in our last mediation, I was also really to able to express that towards him, and I said really the phrase that I trust him also to do the first sleepover, and I also trust him to cancel it or to quit it if it's not working, and to bring the child back to me if he's very upset or very stressed. And that was yeah something that even the person who does the mediation, she said she really got goosebumps because I in one phrase I gave 3 compliments to him, and she stopped and said, "Did you realize that your ex wife did gave you 3 compliments in one sentence, and it wouldn't have been possible a few months ago?" And yeah, she was really
Impressed,
yeah impressed exactly about this progress. Yeah, yeah.
which is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and afterwards, I still feel the pain of course, I have to give my child away. I will not see it all of the time. There's still pain, but there's at the same time a big relief because I feel not on the hook anymore, not tangled so much anymore, and I know it's the right thing, and this relieves me in a lot of ways. Yeah,
You have much more peace about it.
yeah.
You're not trying to avoid the situation that's not avoidable at this stage. So you
Mm.
will have much more peace going through it. Yeah. And the fact that you can give some grace to your ex-husband is also going to make it much easier for him to treat you with much more respect and with more grace, which is going to be easier for your son in a result, right? When he doesn't feel there's like a between the parents, right? Even though they are separate. Amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. This is great. And this is actually beautiful testimony to how deep this work is and how unexpected even it is, the results, the profound results you're getting. Because all of the moms who meet me, they just want to stop yelling at the kids, make the kids listen. But nobody realizes like all the other benefits, because going so deep, we are really not just focusing on the kids. We are focusing on you, like putting you back up, cleaning up all this blah, blah, blah in your head. And nobody realizes at the beginning, like how much more value their lives are going to change. And so I love you sharing this example. Thank you so much for doing that so openly, because this is exactly the proof how meaningful this is. And this is just so much more than you being a mom. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Fantastic. What I'm thinking for people who are listening, what would be the message like for the younger you, the you 3, 4 months ago who was still like in the middle of the thing, not recognizing herself, being like things getting worse and worse with the rage? What
Mm.
would you tell her now?
Mm, I guess the worst, most important thing would be to take the own judgmental off, like to be not so hard on myself, and really starting there and like really trying to look inwards and being there more, taking more empathy for myself, and then without falling into the victim, like really, but really like taking the empathy for me and starting there. And because I really tried it with force, like I always try to my whole life basically, is like thinking now, to force me through everything. And that's what I also tried this time, but it failed completely because it got worse and worse. Yeah, yeah.
You're not forced, and how much more energy you're saving and how much more peace you have once you go
Mm.
from a healed place, and you don't have to force, but things kind of like pull you forward effortlessly. Yeah, beautiful. That's, by the way, the best method also to avoid any future burnouts.
Mm.
Because as you were talking about it before, that you were doing CBT for burnout, it's again very common. Anybody who's listening, watching, who's has gone through a burnout or is going through it right now, it's just one of the symptoms of the same problem. It's the same thing all over again. So continuing your practice now, it means like it's the best safety, security for you, the best prevention of another possible burnout, because you will stop pushing so hard. Now you know how to do it more effectively. Very good. I'm curious, Barbara, what's next for you? What are you working on now, or what are you enjoying, or are you done working and you will just enjoy for the rest of your life now, or what are you planning?
No, but so what I'm seeing, also I start to see much more how why many things in my life worked out like that. So like also relationships, that wasn't the first one that was quite dysfunctional. And of course, if you have the same thing 3 times, it's not the others, it's you, and it's just the same thing. And also regarding other things, I believe also beliefs, core beliefs about wealth and about money and stuff like that. It's very a lot of things I live or have been living are very limited. And I guess it's for me crucial to change that, to have also different quality in life in other aspects. Like also before having another relationship, I would think it would be the same again if I do it right now. Like maybe, yeah, in a few years, if I'm on a different level, it would be a different quality of relationship. And this is what I aim to do, to say I don't want to have this again and again and again in life. It's like it's enough.
You will not, and we see it so often, because once you stop looking for a relationship because you're missing, you're lacking, like you have a black hole inside and you're looking for somebody else to validate you, to make you feel seen and heard, because this is again, if that's the pattern from your childhood that you didn't get it, that's what you go out and look for. You want that from your kids to make you feel seen and validated and loved. You're looking for that for your partners. You're still looking for it from your parents often.
Mm.
You stop, right? Once you heal it, it's like you go into a relationship to give, because you
Mhm.
have so much and you want to share. You go there to give. You're not there to desperately grab and like, let me be with anybody who makes me feel good at least a little bit. Like that whole trauma, codependency melts away, right? So
Mm.
you'll be definitely in a much better place to be ready for a relationship should somebody show up and be worthy. Then yeah, amazing. There was one more thing that when you were sharing, And now I lost it because I got so tangled up. It was so nice, such a nice example with the relationship. We're talking about you will keep up the practice because there's so much more indeed, and there are the money beliefs and relationships indeed, and that's what I wanted to talk about because it's all and for people who are sitting there thinking like how what like I'm here to be a calm mom, now you're talking about money and relationships. Yeah, duh, because it's all coming back to your childhood patterns. And this is the method we are using inside the Zen Supermom program. We are rewiring those childhood patterns, everything that your parents basically dumped on you and the culture and society and yada 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 at school. You're walking around with some blueprints. Whenever you realize, just like Barbara did, and she's sharing, your money beliefs don't work for you. They're keeping you small. They're keeping you stuck and broke. Your relationship patterns don't work for you because you keep falling for the wrong guys. Like it's all the root of it is in your childhood. So once you get the tools, just like Barbara did, she now knows, you now know how to rewire your beliefs, how to take care of the younger part of yourself that got stuck in the childhood, how to make yourself feel good enough and loved unconditionally so that you don't have to look for it outside. You're unstoppable. Congratulations. You're going to have so much fun. I cannot wait to like stay in touch and keep checking what you're going to do next, what other parts of your life you're going to clean up and what results you're going to get. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that I didn't ask you? I didn't give you the space? Anything else that comes up? We're good. Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate your courage again, and I appreciate your grace, your time sharing it here with everybody, sharing your story with the hope that it's going to help somebody else, make you feel seen and heard. You're absolutely not alone. And you see, 3 months, she's done. Even less than 3 months? What was it? I didn't even check. Was it 3 months?
Yeah, I guess
Something like this. We are done. We are done. She can fly solo. She's ready. Excellent. Congratulations, Barbara. And anybody whose story, like if this story resonated with you, send us a message. Connect with us anywhere online, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast episode, and take the next step. Go and learn more and see how you can rewire your childhood so that it stops like tripping you over. Very good, Barbara. Have a great day. Keep me posted about everything as it goes. The eggs, the sun, the dog, everything. Fingers crossed. So happy for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I will see you in the next podcast episode. Bye, Supermom. Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.